Hey, what's going on? My name's Kevin, and if you're watching this video right now, then you probably got dumped by your ex-girlfriend, and you're looking for advice on how to get over her. Well, listen up, because in this video, I'm going to share 3 tips for how to get over her fast. But in order to get over your ex-girlfriend, I think it's important to understand the number one biggest mistake that most guys make that actually keeps them from getting over their ex-girlfriend. See, when a relationship ends, there's this irrational urge that we all have to try to get our ex back. We'll call and text them over and over again. We'll try to convince them that it will change. We'll tell them we love her. We'll tell her that things will be different, and we do all this crazy stuff. And every guy has their own way of doing this. Some guys will write them love songs, maybe write them love letters, while other guys are going to buy them flowers and send them gifts. And I think that a lot of this actually stems from Hollywood. All of us have seen some sort of movie where, two people break up and then the guy finally does something to prove how much he loves his ex-girlfriend, and then she decides to take him back, and they live happily ever after. Well, I hate to be the one to break the bad news here, but those are just happy Hollywood endings. Unfortunately, that stuff doesn't actually work out in the real world because it makes you seem needy and desperate, and it actually pushes her away even further. And I think the underlying belief that causes a lot of guys to do all this crazy stuff is the idea that if she only knew how much I loved her, then she wouldn't leave. Well, I think it's important to realize that that's really not the problem. It's not that she's unconvinced of your love. She knows you love her. She knows you care about her. And she's choosing to break up with you anyways. I know that may be hard to hear, but breakups rarely ever happen because the person just isn't feeling loved enough. So like pouring your heart out and doing all this crazy stuff is not going to make them take you back. It's not like they've been finally waiting to hear your confession of your undying love and then boom, they're running back in your arms. No. The hard truth that you need to realize here is that not only can she live without you, but she would rather live without you. So if your girlfriend left you, you need to realize that trying to get her back is a waste of time. In fact, it's actually counterproductive because it's going to make it harder for you to get over her. Not only does it waste your time and energy and fail to change her mind, but it also makes it really hard for you to change yours. See, the more you spill your heart to her and the more that you tell her that you love her and you can't live without her, the more you actually start to believe all this stuff. And the more you start to feel like, you need her in order to be happy. With every creative expression of your undying love, the breakup becomes more and more devastating, and the loss becomes harder and harder to deal with. And what you're basically doing is exaggerating how important she is, and that's going to make it harder for you to get over her. And if that's not bad enough, pouring your heart out to her and being totally vulnerable about how you feel and sharing all that with her, only to realize that it had zero effect on her whatsoever and pretty much did nothing to get her back, is just going to leave you feeling even more heartbroken because you're going to feel like, you did everything possible to get her back and it's still not enough. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that she won't appreciate it or she won't empathize with you, but it's not actually going to change anything. She's not going to come running back to you after you say any of this stuff. And this is only going to hurt even more because it's just going to reaffirm the fact that she doesn't feel the same way about you anymore. And the pain of that rejection is going to sting, and it's going to be really hard for you to accept. So what I would recommend is to just accept that it's over now and save yourself from all this unnecessary suffering and just quit while you're ahead. It's better to let it go now and sort of preserve your dignity than to do all these crazy things and act out of desperation, and then look back, a couple months from now and go like, why the fuck did I do that? I was acting needy and desperate, and I was doing all this crazy stuff. And you're literally going to feel embarrassed that you did these things. So here's 3 tips to get over her. Number 1, stop doing things to try to get her back. Number 2, realize that you can't get over her and get her back at the same time. And number 3, accept that getting over her doesn't start until you stop trying to get her back. So do yourself a favor and let go so that you can actually move on with your life and get over her. Because as long as there's this inkling of hope or desire to get back with her, you're not going to be able to move on, and it's going to weigh you down. So hopefully this video has been helpful. And, if you want to get more advice on how to get over your ex-girlfriend, you can download a free chapter from my book called The Ultimate Guide on How to Get Over a Breakup by going to my website at www.howtogetoverarelationship.com. And the address is probably somewhere up there above my head. So thank you for watching, and have a nice day.